welcome to today's episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat. I'm Karen Scott Green,
And I'm Kat Hardrick.
and we have the pleasure today to be here with Katherine Juhan-Arnold of Baby Katie's Farm to Kitchen. And Katherine is our very own urban farmer.
Woo! Hey, girl, so glad to have you here today.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, ladies.
So,
Thank you.
first, you have to tell us about Baby Katie's
Farm and kitchen.
farm to
Yep.
kitchen.
Yeah. Girl, we so excited to have you. Look.
Farm to kitchen. I butchered that. There's farm to kitchen, and how you got into farming.
Okay. So Baby Katie's Farm and Kitchen started because I lost my job and I couldn't
Woo.
afford food, and food stamps was like you made too much money to
Mm.
get food stamps. So this was 2013, 2014.
Mm.
And the company I was working for, best job ever. Like beer and wine Fridays, the whole nine. You could draw on the walls. I was doing everything that I
Mm.
wanted to do. I was at the height of my career,
Okay.
Mm.
and the company got bought out, and then they laid everybody off.
Oh.
So it was an incredible position, but I tell
Okay.
people that I had to be let go from my passion to enter my purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really how it started. Is I couldn't afford food, and I was like, oh, okay, you know how to grow food? Just buy some seeds. It's cheap. You can't get
Mm-hmm.
government assistance, but
Mm-hmm.
you know how to grow stuff. And that's really where it started. And then all these kids started popping up and eating all my food. And I was like, why are y'all here? Y'all parents have jobs. Why are you at my house eating my food? Go eat your own food.
Right.
But I
So,
talked to their parents and they were like,
uh-huh.
we really don't have time. We can't make it to the grocery store. The closest grocery store is 20 minutes away. And that's when I
Wow.
realized we were actually in a food desert. This was before the Walmart neighborhood mart was on 78. And yeah, so that's really how it started. We started growing gardens in everybody's yard and had communal dinners and stuff like that.
Mm.
What area were you in where it were food deserts?
I was living on Rosedale. I was living on
Wow.
Rosedale Road in Snellville, Georgia.
What?
Yeah,
So you were deserts in Snellville, Georgia. Who would have thought?
And for those who don't know,
right.
Snellville is very suburban.
Mm-hmm.
Very suburban, middle class, and the fact that you were having food deserts in suburban America,
Mm-hmm.
speaks volumes to the fact that it's not just because when we hear about food deserts, we think of poor
That's
communities,
right. Low
urban communities, low
income.
income.
Mm-hmm.
But here you are in the middle of a middle class, working neighborhood, and you were living in a food desert. How far away or how close was your closest grocery store?
Well, at that time, the Cub Foods would have been the closest, but it has shut down. The Ingles would have been the second closest, but it was no longer there. So the Walmart Supercenter would have, or the Kroger that was on 78, that would have been close too, but it wasn't there anymore either. So our closest store would have been the Walmart on 124, and
Okay.
from
Wow.
there was about a 15-minute drive.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a car,
Then a
th-
15-minute car ride is probably going to be what, an hour, 2 hour
mm-hmm.
walk
Right.
each
An
way?
hour walk.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
With
yeah,
groceries. Mm. And that's considered the south side of Gwinnett, Snellville, where you were?
I think so. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like right before you get to the mark for South Gwinnett High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
All
Yeah.
right.
it's
So
that
Wow.
area. It's in the South
that's
Gwinnett
a nice little
district.
hike.
Yeah.
That's a nice little hike. So you discovered that you're in a food desert and money's short, and Baby Katie's came out of necessity,
Mm-hmm.
which a lot of us,
Yes.
that's how we start businesses, out of
Mm-hmm. The
necessity,
need.
out of the need.
You are solving a problem in your community with Baby Katie's Farm and Kitchen.
And so let's
Yeah.
talk about how did you make that transition from growing for yourself to now you are selling at markets, and you have more than um, one plot of land that you are actually growing on. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
It just expanded. It expanded. So at the height of it, we were at 64 families that I was helping.
Oh,
And
wow.
53 of those families have gone to create their own food systems, moved to rural areas, got farm loans, done a bunch of different things with the instructions with the things that they've learned. So to get from growing food for the neighborhood to growing food for basically the county,
Mm.
um, it's it's just been a journey, taking it one step at a time and listening to feedback along the way. There was a guy who came to one of our communal dinners back on Rosedale, and he said, "This is a nonprofit. Turn it into a nonprofit." And I did what
Okay.
he said, and it just grew from there.
Now you're all over in farmers markets. How many farmers markets do you do?
Currently two. I'm hoping to expand to two more this season. So you can find me at Snellville and Lilburn Farmers Market, and I'm hoping to start at Norcross and maybe Stonecrest if they have it this year.
And in addition to your farmers markets, you have land. So talk about this venture that you're doing right here on the south side of Snellville with the Promised Land.
Okay, the Promised Land is a great community, lots of history there. And I'm not going to say too much about it because a lot of stuff is still in the works. But
Okay.
you can look it up. It's all searchable. Just
Mhm.
type in the Promised Land, Snellville, Georgia, and you'll find a bunch of stuff. But it's a great partnership between the Chad Livesey Foundation and Baby Katie's Farm and Kitchen. And we signed a 20-year cooperative agreement to bring the community
Mm.
back to a place of abundance.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're taking the land, we're farming on it, we're building an outdoor cafe, we're stocking up the lake, the pond, so that you can fish out of it. There's a hoop house over there. We're going to grow some tropical fruits and some different things just to bring nutrients back to the land and our people. So I'm
That's
really
right.
excited about the Promised Land community and what we aim to accomplish there.
Okay. So, the other property that you also farm on, how large is that, and what are you growing?
It's a total of 10 acres.
Okay.
And it's at a church, but it's called the Bessie Saka Community Garden.
Hmm.
And right now, there is absolutely nothing in the ground except 71 fruit and nut trees. So
Wow.
we're going to do some flowers. We're going to do some tomatoes, some cucumbers, some sunflowers, some staples, the stuff that people love. So we
Yeah.
can
Right.
get people out here and involved and active and just get back in touch with nature a little bit.
So that's where you are right now. Can you swing your camera around for our viewers just to look and see just a little bit if you can the area in which you're working with? Look at that. That is just beautiful.
It
And so
really
that
is.
that plot of dirt that you're showing right there, that's where you're actually going to farm and plant things. That's where you just planted some stuff.
That will be all flowers, tomatoes, corn, squash, cucumbers, um, everything. As soon as Good Friday passes and we're able to put some stuff in the ground, it's gonna happen. It's happening.
Wow. Those are things right after my little vegan heart.
I know, right? Right. Because now, speaking of that, in both of you, that's another thing that I love about you too, Kat, because everything that you cook is like natural, vegan, your juices. Girl, talk about some of those products because
Yeah.
I exercise, right? And I always tell this story. And I was exercising, I was doing my little 13 miles, girl, and Sylvia was having a farmer's market. And I was thirsty and I walked past all that stuff and I bought one of her juices. And girl, it was just so awesome.
Mm.
And you can just taste the freshness and everything. And I've just been hooked ever since. So speak to some of the product.
But before you get to your product, since you're talking about our juices, I have to talk about the fact that I used your services to cater
Yep.
two events, I believe it was,
Mm-hmm.
that you provided items for me last year.
Mm-hmm.
And the hit were your jackfruit sliders.
Mm-hmm.
And you had Hawaiian coleslaw on top of the barbecue jackfruit sliders, and she had done them as
Little mini, like those crystal sandwiches.
sliders.
Sliders.
As
Mm-hmm.
sliders.
Mm-hmm.
They were the bomb. Everybody was talking about the jackfruit sliders, and they could not believe that it wasn't meat.
Mm-hmm.
That it, people thought it was like pulled pork, as if I eat pork. But
Right.
people thought that it was pulled pork, and they were so.
I know, right? This girl crazy.
But they were. It was really good, and
I haven't tasted anything that, and I can eat. And she has like her vegan chili. I love. So we can just keep going on. That's why you got to jump in and tell everybody like what they can expect from Baby Kate's Pharm and Kitchen.
Well, my main goal this year is to open back up the kitchen. I strongly feel like if we have the right nutrients in us, we can make the right decisions. And the food that comes from the grocery store it's not nutrient dense at all. But when you're growing your own food and it's coming locally, it's not being treated with all these chemicals, there's a different level of nutrient that goes into your cell. And when you have that information in your cells, you have that information in your brain, and you can function a little bit more. What do they say? I'm cooking with gas, or I'm cooking. What is the saying?
Yeah.
When you have the right nutrients in you, you can cook with gas.
Yeah.
So the goal is to open up the kitchen and get people nutrient rich and dense food.
That's right. I heard a gentleman this morning on my talk radio that I listened to. He was saying how when you made a pie, it was just fruit wrapped in dough. Now when you buy a pie, when you get a pie, it is a pie filled with chemicals. And it just hit me, right? And so in my opinion, what you're doing is so necessary. And I love the fact that you're an urban farmer, and we have to create more pathways so more people will have avenues to get a farm. It shouldn't just be for a certain set of people, and we need to be able to have farms in our community so we can go from farm to kitchen to table, and it's in our own. And what about just being back with the earth, right? Like I hear all the birds in the background, and the sun is shining, and you have the beautiful trees and the landscape. I know that has to be for mental wellness, because we talk about that all the time. I'm sure that has to enhance your mental space. If you're having a rough day, you're just like, look, I'm going out here to this farm and I'm gonna get with God and the earth. Like, how does it feel? And how I'm all over the place. But what I'm trying to ask is, don't you have an avenue for people to come out and help you on the farm as well, to volunteer?
I do. So we have volunteer days, and they're all on Eventbrite. You just type in Baby Katie's Pharm and Kitchen on Eventbrite, and they will pop up. It's usually on a Saturday or a Sunday. At the Promised Land, we're also doing Promised Land markets and donation drives. So those are all listed on the Eventbrite. You just type it in, or go to the ChadLiveseyProject.com, Lake Cheryl, everything's there. Anything you want to know about what's going on is all on that website. So what are we talking about? Volunteer days. Yes. Come out and help. Everything is literally, or if you go to Instagram, the link is in the bio, click it. You can find it anywhere. You can find it everywhere. We are always looking for hands because there is always something to do. But as far as the mental health aspect, it is just me, nature, God. We just out here, we doing what we do. And I'm learning. It is peaceful. It is tranquil. And you learn things from nature, from just sitting in nature. There was a wild turkey out here. Wow. Go ahead, Karen.
If I don't have any farming experience, can I come out and help?
You can. I'll put you to work. I'll tell you what to do.
Look, there's zero experience needed to be with Earth, right? That's right. I know that's right.
What are some of the things that you need volunteers to do when they're out there?
Absolutely. Even if you can just move the earth, we'll just have you with a wheelbarrow and a shovel and come and move some compost or put a seed in the ground. I think a lot of people overcomplicate planting. And really, once you get back in touch with nature,
Mhm.
you'll understand anybody can do it. This is what we were put here for, is to give back to the earth. So
Are there any specific skill sets that you need for volunteers out there? Because I know you said like anybody could come, but is there anything specifically that you need for folks to know how to do,
Yeah, so
or that you need that would really help you?
yeah, that can help move your objective faster.
the thing about farming is, as an occupation, is farming encompasses every occupation there is:
Mm.
finance, um, media management, production, every occupation out there can be tied back into farming.
Okay.
Even merchandising and purchasing, things like that, stocking. There is something for everybody to do. And literally, if you come here and you say, hey, I can't lift that 25-pound bag over there, but I'm really good at math and accounting, I can take you over here, show you everything that I bought, and have you do inventory for me. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Yes.
So there's some place for everybody. There's really something for everybody to do. There was a lady out here. She's retired now, but she was out here the other day, and she said, "Hey, I'm retired, but I have a bunch of tools that I don't use. Can you use them?" I was
Mhm.
like, "Absolutely." And she's donating a drill and a couple other things. So it's
Nice.
really just about having a conversation with people. Uh,
Okay.
what do you need? What do we have? What are you able to do? Oh, I'm able to do this. And I think that's a really big issue that people actually can learn from nature is everybody, even the leaves, communicate with the birds about
Mhm.
when the birds have shelter or when they can't be used. And I feel like people can really learn a lot just by being out here and watching. Like, even if you do nothing, just look
Mhm.
at how nature acts. Look at how nature is, and we could learn more about communication, because really that's what it all boils down to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember you educated me about cutting my grass.
Okay, I could be on that soapbox all day. So
Go ahead and hit a little bit on it. We need to educate our viewers. I mean, seriously, because we when we were kids, I know when I was a kid, although I'm from up north, we would
oh, in the
play,
winter.
yeah, and all this stuff. So educate folks on all of that because we need to know this and how we're affected because the environment is we only have two places to live, our body and this planet. And we right now are on a negative trajectory for both of them. So please drop some nuggets and let people know what they can do to help, better themselves and the planet.
Now, what's the deal about the grass?
Girl, yeah, she gonna drop it. She said it straight. Anybody who know me about my grass
Okay,
know.
so people like to cut their grass super duper extra low,
Mm.
and we forget that is a home for the bugs. And there's a
Mm.
problem with bees. There's a problem with pollinators, but bees aren't our only pollinators. Flies
Mm.
are our pollinators. Really, all insects. And if we cut away their home, if we cut it too low, we're killing off their environment. We're killing
Mm.
our grass, and we're killing off their environment. So, and then in the winter, when you have your leaves and the leaves are all piled up and everybody's upset because, leaves, nothing grows through leaves if you have them
Mhm.
stacked high enough. That's where the bugs live. That's how they survive the winter. And we really shouldn't
Mm.
be moving our leaves in the cold because they have no protection. So you just set them there until after your first frost date, which in Georgia I think is April 2nd or April 4th, somewhere around there.
No.
And then you move your leaves because the bugs have warmed up, they've moved away, they've started getting what they need to sustain for this season. So,
So, moral of the story is don't buy a house in an HOA.
Right,
because
right.
yes,
because I think for some HOAs, like the grass can't be more than an inch or 2 inches high. Um,
And
and
keep the leaves and
yeah, the
branches and twigs.
leaves and all of that have to be cut.
It's manicured,
Yes.
and everybody's trying to be so
my HOA
manicured.
hates me right now. They do. They really do. They're like, no vines on the house. You need to treat your grass. You got too many weeds. I'm like, no, I'm not spraying any chemical in this yard. That's first off.
Yeah, you're
Mm.
not to spray
And
all the chemicals too. Yeah, you got to stop
yeah,
all of that
so
permanents and all of them people putting stuff or whatever those folks call to do the grass. because you're tilling the soil. How do you make sure your soil is healthy so that it can produce great food? Because it depends on the soil too, right? I mean, you can plant seeds all day long, but if your soil is crap, then you're not going to get
Nothing's
anything.
gonna grow. That's true.
Yeah. So what is your advice about that?
Compost.
Mm.
Especially if you're at home. If you're a home grower, throw your banana peels, all your fruits, all your vegetables, even your tea bags, into a compost and use that and put it on top of your plants. Put it in your plants. Even if it
Okay.
doesn't break down, dig a hole and bury it in a hole and then put a plant on top of it. If you don't have an actual compost bin,
So
there
how
are
do I
ways
make
to
a
have good
compost bin?
soil.
Yeah.
How do I make a compost bin?
So
Because I
you
don't have one.
take a healthy amount of greens, a healthy amount of browns. So your greens would be grass clippings, any type of food scraps, things like that. And your browns would be cardboard, leaves, paper, as long as there are no inks or anything in them.
Mm-hmm.
And you just put it all together. Just stick it all together.
Mm.
You could compost in a pile. You can compost in a leaf bag. You can compost in a bucket in your kitchen if you want to. But you just stack your greens and your browns. Greens, browns,
Greens and the
greens,
browns.
browns.
And you just layer like a banana pudding. You just layer, or just is that's it?
Yes, that's
Okay.
it.
Does it smell?
Yes, it would have
Look at
to.
me. I'm like,
It
does it?
does.
Yeah, no.
It
So
smells
how do
terrible.
No. No, ma'am. I don't want to
So
do
for the
that.
people who hate the smell, there are carbon filters. You put the carbon filter in the top of your compost bin, and it's supposed to take away that smell.
Mm. Is the
So it
carbon
won't
safe
stink
for the
up your
environment?
kitchen.
Mm.
Is the carbon
It is.
safe for the
We're
environment?
carbon.
Oh,
It
okay.
is. Yeah. We're carbon based.
Well,
So
Jesus gonna need to work
are
on
we
me
safe
with
for the
this.
environment?
Baby
So,
steps, baby steps.
Sister Catherine, honestly though, Jesus gonna have to work on me with composting because I don't like the smell of trash in the house. That's why our garbage cans have to be emptied like all the time. So you're saying if you put this carbon at the top, that's gonna take away the
The
smell?
girl
I
having
just,
issues. You having
yeah,
issues?
I love you, but
It will. Okay.
yeah,
I'm going to challenge you. Try it with your
okay,
trash can. Is your trash can inside?
yes. Well, no, not my
If
big
your
trash
trash
can.
can is
We
inside,
have a
put
kitchen
it
garbage can.
put carbon filters at the top of your kitchen garbage can. And if you can't
Okay,
smell your trash anymore, then give compost a try.
okay.
Where do we get this carbon stuff?
You can order them on Amazon. They sell them at Kroger. There are a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Carbon filters.
Carbon
Okay.
filters. We
All
need to.
right.
Hmm.
I need to come out to the new
I'm
spot
I'm
and see you. I saw the beginning of the promised land because um, my girl here, she's always over there after church on Sunday, and so I want to
getting
come.
that dope coffee.
Yeah, you know. So we have to schedule a time to come out and see this new property that you're at now, and then set up time to volunteer and get other folks to come out and volunteer. So tell our listeners another time how can they sign up to volunteer to come and help?
Just go to the website or go to Eventbrite and type in Baby Katie's Farm and Kitchen and click the registration link. It doesn't cost anything to volunteer, but if you want to give a donation, go for it.
I know that's right. Is
And
it an age requirement or like a minimum, like as young as?
No, bring the
so
kids, strap the baby on your back. Come on, let's go.
for those who are listening to this podcast rather than seeing it, I guess it doesn't matter. But spell baby Katie's for us.
BabyKatries.
All right.
Baby
And
Katie's and
so,
Pharm is Pharm.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
Yep. That's
That's
right.
important.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'll have the banner
Mm-hmm.
on when we're uploading this because this is going to air on Friday.
This is so good. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just stuck on all of the food. I I'm glad because I know you. I'm glad that we've experienced one, I love your spirit. Like you are really genuinely a God-fearing person who believes in helping people, and what you do, you pour back into other folks. Just like what you said, you wind up helping what you say, 60 other families.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, out of your
amazing.
own despair, you're always pouring out. And I love that about you. And that's what's really important. Not only just to connect with Earth, but to connect to other human beings. Connectedness, we're losing that. And I thank you for being the woman that you are to help spread that love and joy and connect people back and bringing us back not only together as a village, but back to the earth as well. Because I just was looking at the news, like we're in heightened issues with water, like water. One day we may not. There are people in other countries that have been without clean water for like a year.
Mm.
And so we have to do our
Right.
part. Right. You know, so coming back to growing our own food and preserving and stop wasting, like what you just said, like all this stuff we throwing away, we could compost it. What if we all started composting? Yeah, it smell, but at the end of the day, we're saving our planet and we're saving ourselves, you know?
I'm gonna try composting. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. But Miss Catherine,
If
where
you want
can
to
they
throw
go?
your stuff in a bucket and bring it to me, I'll compost it.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't y'all collect? Do you collect compost and leaves and stuff?
Yeah.
We're working out the details on
She
the
had to
compost
pause on
itself,
it. She
but
don't
I
want
will
everybody
take your
bringing up
leaves.
the kitchen scraps.
We are working out the details on the compost, but if you bring me your leaves, I will take your leaves.
Okay, yeah, you'll take the leaves. Like, don't be bringing me all your nasty old food.
Right. Like, I got big, huge tarps in my backyard of leaves, so I'll bring them to you.
So, where can
Okay.
folks find you so that they can buy your vegetables?
Your juices.
Yes, your juices. Where can they find you?
Are you still doing the what's the I see what is it that you can put on your face and you eat it? It's the gel. Masimas.
CMOS. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So you can find me at the farmers market, Snellville and Loveland for sure. Hopefully Norcross and Stonecrest if they decide to do it this year.
Okay. And
You can
when
also go to the website.
mhm.
Go ahead.
And when are the farmers markets held?
Lilburn Farmers Market is every Friday starting in May, from May until September. And
Okay.
Snellville Farmers Market is every Saturday, come before noon.
All
I think it's
right.
from 9 to noon until June. And then it'll be from 8 until 12:30, I think.
So people can come out and get some of that delicious, some of your juices on Saturday at the Snellville Farmers Market this week, until from 8 till noon. Is that right?
It's so the first and third until June. The first and third
Until June.
Saturday until June.
All right. So
But if
what's
you check
Saturday?
the website or go to Instagram at Katie's
Okay.
Farm, everything's there.
All the places where you'll be. All right. So we're gonna have that. We will have a link to your website when this posts, and it'll be posting on Friday, like I said. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that, because we want to make sure that everybody knows about all the fabulous things that you're doing? So is there anything that we didn't touch on?
That you'd like our listeners to
There's a
know?
lot of stuff y'all didn't touch on, but I cannot share right now. But there are some
Oh,
really great things happening, and hopefully before June, I will be
Okay.
able to share more because there is a lot. There's some
Okay.
good
Well,
good stuff in
what
the pipeline.
what can you share with us that we did not touch on that you can share?
Let's see. Um, Hopefully there'll soon be a place for you all to come pick up some jackfruit sliders
yes.
and some juices without having to wait for the market.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Nice.
that's something
Nice.
I can share very
All
soon.
right.
All right.
Yes.
Lovely. Thank you, Catherine. Did you anything you wanted to add, Miss Cat?
No, girl, I'm gonna be over there for them sliders and some vegan chili.
So normally I'm at the Promised Land Sundays around 11ish, 11:15. So if you want to be there like with some chili or something on Sunday or something that I can eat, I appreciate that.
When you bring your compost.
Yeah.
Hello, you can do a barter system.
Okay, barter.
Yes, but we definitely appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the show today and telling everybody about Baby Katie's Farm and Kitchen. And we will make sure we have all of your information up so folks can come out, volunteer, both people can donate and support you.
Absolutely. Thank you
Thank
for
you both.
joining
I
us.
really appreciate y'all. I appreciate
Thank
y'all.
you.
Y'all do good stuff. Highlighting the
Thank you.
community and yeah, just be a bright soldier yourself,
Thank
Takes
you.
Amen.
one to know one.
All right.
Amen. Thank you, sis.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat.
Well, we are impacting the world one conversation at a time.
With the help of Eco Paradigm Atlanta, we planted 71 fruit and nut trees out in the field. So there's fig, apple, apricot, serviceberry, pawpaw, which is one of the most nutritious things and native to Georgia that you can eat. And then in the ground here, we'll have all the regular fruits and vegetables that everybody loves to eat. Cucumber, tomatoes, peppers, things like that. And in the front up here, hopefully by the end of the month, we'll have community garden beds. So if you want to have a space to grow in, we're going to build beds at the end of the month. And by the middle of April, you can plant them out.
Oh, nice.
Girl, you are doing it. Baby K's Farm and Kitchen.